So type of, instance of, and type conversion. We have at once at one point in time, I've explained what the type of operator does. Then I also mentioned the instance of when I was talking about the maps and the sets object. Now, the type of actually returns the type of the data. As you can see here, this is the syntax, the type of, then whatever data that you want to know the type. For example, I have a 42 here. If I run type of 42, it's going to give me a number. It's telling me that this type 42 is a number. If I do type of hello, it's going to return me string. Type of true, Boolean. So just to demonstrate, type of 42, I'm going to print that out, console.log. You can see its number. If I put this in a quote, remember string is always in a quote. It will return a string. If I do type of true or false, it's going to return me Boolean. If I do false here, I'm going to have a Boolean, same Boolean. But if I do type of array, this is a form of object. It's going to return me an object. Oh, okay. It's saying error because item 1 is not defined because it's seeing it as if it's a variable. It should have been inside a string. So you can see T is an object. So if I do object also, let me just do an empty object. It should give me an object, right? So that is what type of is doing. Returns the data type. And we have special cases because some will think that if you run the type of null, it should give you a null, but no, it will return an object. If I do null, so I have code. So you can see it is an object. So this is primitive data types, and these ones are non-primitive, which is object. Right? Is there any question?
No, sir.
All right, I'll move on. Now, check if a variable is defined or not. You know, undefined is also a data type, right? So if you check a variable if a variable is not defined before you check the type of that variable, it's going to return you undefined. That was exactly what I did earlier on when I was trying to do access and check the type of this array when I forgot to put it in a string. Let me just change it to 3, for example. You see, it's saying that this is not defined, it's undefined. So if I check item, you will see it's going to return undefined, right? And that is, however, if I declare this item prior me checking it, for example, it will not return undefined, rather it will return number because what data inside this is a number. So, however, if this is not defined, right, it's going to return undefined. That is the more reason before you use a variable within your code, always test whether the type of that item or the variable is equal to undefined. If it is undefined, if this is equal to undefined, it should return true because there's nothing here to defined for that item. But let's say I defined it here, item. It should say false because the type of this item is now number, not undefined. So let me remove this item again. Now it will return true because it is undefined. So in such a case, you can easily do something like testing. If this item is undefined, I can tell the user or the programmer or wherever, alert that information that please define, assign value, a value to your variable. So you can do this. So please assign. So is there any question?
No, sir.
Okay. I will try to limit the class to 30 minutes since you are the only person here. Now I move on. If I can finish this instance and type of yes, I will finish this one today. It's not much. So the limitation of this type of is that I cannot determine whether an array is actually an array. For example, if I check the type of this array, it will return an object. So, but I want to determine whether this object is it a normal object or is it an array. So that is the more reason why instance of got developed. So the instance, hold on, please. Hello. Sorry, Jerry. So I need to, yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So the instance of operator tests whether an object is an instance of a specific constructor or inherits from it. Now, an array has a constructor behind it, and a set or map, they all have constructor. So what this does is it tests whether that object is an instance of a constructor. And once that can be determined, it will return the type, the name of that constructor. What am I saying? If I go to this and I say instance of this, it should return me. No, I think okay. I think it's capital. No, something is wrong. Am I not getting the syntax right? Instance. Oh, okay. I need to specify. I need to specify the um, variable, which in my case is this. This instance of array. Is it an instance of array? Uh, what's wrong with me? What am I missing? Oh, is it expecting me to put it in in a variable? Must I do that? No, I don't think so. It should not. Let me put aha. Yes. So you can see that this is instance of an array. So this instance of will give you what that um, data structure is. I can do map. If I say, is it an instance of map? It should return me false because it is not an instance of map. Neither is it an instance of set. So that is why the instance of is important to actually check whether um, the variable is of a particular instance of a specific constructor. So now I move on. These are use cases of the instance operator. So we have a class, right? And don't worry about this one because this class thing, although I've touched on it before, but we are yet to go deep into it because when we are going deep into it, then we'll be talking of abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, and encapsulation, right? The four pillars of object-oriented programming. But we can't go into that now. So we can use it to validate the type, the input type. For example, I want to know what type is this input. So you can test it. Is this input instance of an array? If this is not, you are trying to test whether that input is an array or not. So you check, is this input instance of an array? If it is not an array, this inner statement or argument will return false. And when this is false, this not we negate it to make it true. And once this condition is true, it will execute this statement, meaning that um, what is expected is an array, not any other thing. We want an array right at that as input. So you can use it to test whether an array a variable is an array or object or whichever one, as the case may be. Is there any question?
No, sir.
Okay, let me quickly demonstrate this so that at least you see it in action. So let's say I have an array. Just stop at that. And I have a, normal primitive type. And I want to test if this sum is an array or not. If I say if sum instance of array, if it is instance of array, then console.log I can say thank you for input for the array input. However, if it is not an array, you can say place input an array. So if I run my code, you can say please input an array because this sum is not an array. And if I change this to array, then I will have the other one. Thank you for the array input rather. So I hope that is clear. Any question if I move on?
No, sir.
Okay. In JavaScript, you can easily convert data type from one form to the other without any limitation, or let me see, without reduced limitation or with some flexibility, as the case may be. Take, for example, if I say let x equal to 4, and I say, okay, what type what type of what is the type of x right there, and after that I just assign x. I assign a string. I assign a string to that x, and I'm printing this exactly the same thing x. If I run it, you will see at this point it is a number, and when I assigned string to it, it receives it, and now the type of x is now a string. So this is the flexibility that you have in JavaScript data type. And that is why we say we can do implicit conversion. implicit conversion. So the type conversion refers to changing a value from one data type to another. JavaScript supports both implicit data cohesion and explicit typecasting. So you can just assign whatever type you want to a to a variable, and you can also assign another type entirely. It's going to take it without any complaint. However, it is not very good practice to just be changing data type anyhow. It is better you clarify your data type, and that is what TypeScript try to resolve. There's a language called TypeScript. The TypeScript ensures that you define the data type, and once you define it, you will not be able to change it inside your program, except you go and redeclare that variable to be another data type. So as you can see here, this is a string. Now I am trying to add a 2 to this string 5 because this 5 is a string, and you know that the plus operator is overloaded. Overloaded means that it has more than one function, one job. Let me just put it that way so that you can understand. So this plus can mean the addition of two numbers if 5 is a number and 2 is a number. So assuming this is 5, a number, if I do 5 plus 2, it's going to return me a 7. Let's all just practice it. Although we have done this many times under the operator. If I run this, you will see it will return 5 2 because it's going to concatenate it together and join them together. But let's say this, I remove the string and I do that, it's going to return me a 7, which is a number. So what is happening here is cohesion. I'm trying to force. Cohesion means forcing one thing into to be another thing. So the two is cohesed to act as a string, and the result is that concatenation. That is for positive, because positive has two functions, two jobs, depending on the data type. If the data type is string, it's going to concatenate together. If the data types are numbers, it's going to add those two numbers. However, in negative sign, negative does not have any other job, which simply means it is not overloaded. So this will be interpreted as what? This term will be interpreted as numbers. So we have 10 minus 3, it will be 7, not 103. It should not be 103. If I come here and I do 10, then minus, this should give me 8. But if I do plus, the plus will concatenate it together to give 102. Is there any question?
No, sir.
Good, no question. All right. So I move on. Explicit conversion, which is typecasting. So you can see here, this is a string, and I'm trying to convert this 1, 2, 3 into a number, and that is why this number method is used to explicitly convert this string into a number. So pass int 2, we try to convert whatever is here into an integer. Similarly, the pass float. So Well, that is what explicit conversion is all about. You try to convert a data type into another data type. It is super important in this world of JavaScript to understand how you can convert one type into another. The process might be tedious for you to know converting data type, but there are times you cannot do without it. You have no choice but to do what? To um, coerce certain data type into another data type. So this is another example of what? Explicit conversion. This we know that this norm holds 1, 2, 3. It holds 1, 2, 3 within a string. So definitely because of this string, this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 will be a string. And now I'm trying to convert this string into a number. So I've just used the number, then pass this variable here to convert it to a number. Is there any question?
No, sir.
Okay. So we can combine the type of an instance of for robust type checking. We can actually. We can, on one hand, test for object, and on the other hand, test for array. Then we can now do whatever thing we want to do with after confirming the status of the Boolean status. So we are going to close here today in the absence of any question. Or do you have any question?
No, sir.
Okay. You are very sure. No question.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we are going to stop here today so that we won't go too far in depth into it while others are not here. Although we have spent almost for 40 minutes anyway. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see next week Tuesday.